Welcome to the L36 podcast, where the global exploration of cultural insights and stories of people making a difference, big and small, becomes the shift in perspective that helps us grow. I'm your host, Stephen Pierce, founder of L36, with my co-host, Nina Winstead. And today we are speaking with Helen Bradley, a creativity coach, expressive arts facilitator, and dedicated guide who helps individuals reconnect with their innate creativity.
People realize that creativity is everywhere. The way that we dress, the way that we work with our children, it's like it's everything.
Through her unique approach, combining body-centered intuition, expressive movement, and transformative art practices, Helen empowers people from all walks of life to break free from limitations, rediscover playfulness, and foster profound healing and joy.
Well, welcome, Helen. Thank you so much for joining us on the L36 podcast. We will be able to get to your story in a little bit and your methodology and your mindset behind creativity and how you work with people. But before that, if you were to speak directly at a person who is struggling with their creativity or may not realize the importance of it in their life, maybe you could share a little bit about what someone can gain from a life full and rich with creativity.
Oh my gosh, so much. I mean, I've seen people that have worked in corporates come to the studio and they were stressed out and didn't like their life, and the way that we do the art process or the creative process here, you just saw, and that is taken into the canvas, and then they get to talk to the canvas, and they get out of their head and out of their life, out of what's going on in the world. And so they're present here. Me too. I mean, this is how I do my own art. And what that does is it just frees up a place of exploration, play, where it really doesn't matter what goes on the canvas at all. They're playing. In fact, I start people out blind with their eyes closed, doing that whole movement that we just did. And then it's just like, so that critical mind moves out of the way.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Because how can a critic complain with your eyes closed? It's just like, and then we go into, when your eyes are open, how can you serve this painting? What does it need from you? Not what you want it to look like. What does it need from you? Yeah. So if you keep asking that question, then you move out of the critical mind and into listening. Yeah. And then when we're done, you get to dialogue with the painting itself. So it's like they sit down, I sit down too, and it's just like, who are you? What do you want to say to me? Yeah. I want to know everything. I want to know what you want to say about the intention I went in with. Do you have any next steps? Do you want anything else from me? What's your name?
What's your name?
So they get to have that.
Neat.
And then we go into sharing with each other, which is the most profound part. The person will talk about what the painting said to them, and then one person will say, this makes me feel, it reminds me. We never have in this studio, or the people I work with, critique.
Okay.
So critique is out the door. So it's, how does it make them feel? What does it remind them? So it's ownership language. And then I have a bunch of accoutrements in here, like musical instruments and scarves and tutus, you name it. It's here.
Oh, so we need to bring those to Italy too. Okay, that's good. This is why we need to talk. That's good to know. Okay.
Because that brings in so if I was going to respond to your painting with a movement, how would I move? So they can either just move, or they can go get whatever they want to from the dress up stuff and bring that into it. And then if I was going to respond to your painting with a song or with sound, what would that be? Wow. So, and then if I was going to respond to your painting with a spontaneous poem, what would that be? And I've seen poems happen in a minute that are profound.
Wow. Wow.
And you guys have a few of the folks coming that are so good at that.
Yeah.
So it's like, it just happens in here. That to me is the magic.
Yeah.
And so I've seen my husband will say, when I leave the studio after facilitating, my eyes are sparkly, and I probably went in exhausted. And I've seen that from people that leave because they got to express, they got to play. When do adults get to play like that?
Right. Yeah. Especially around other adults.
Yeah.
You get your excuse with your kids or something, but with other adults, strangers
With
even.
other adults.
Yeah.
I mean, they've ended up having dance parties, or whatever, it's just really playing, and it goes back to Picasso's quote about, children know that they're artists.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it correctly, but as adults, we forget.
Yeah. So true.
That's wonderful.
So it's just reminding them, play exploration is part of creativity.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge part of it.
And when you say that person comes in, I mean, I can imagine that person comes in stressed out from the corporate world, from their stressful, demanding, high-profile job. They leave just full of joy, childish wonder.
All the time.
And
that's why I love it. I've actually just come back to doing in-persons because I've been gone. We just redid the studio to have in-persons again. I closed down during COVID and then I just reopened. We just finished this month.
Yeah.
And because my knees, I had some physical challenges after COVID, so
yeah,
it's exciting to have people back in the studio.
Beautiful.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, we're going to have to come over after Italy.
Yes.
We'll come hang out.
Yes.
It sounds like a place to be. It really does.
It does. So how did you become so interested in creativity itself? I don't know how to ask
my
the
mom
question.
was an artist.
Oh, she was. Okay.
My mom was an artist, and I really give her credit for invoking or allowing this creative soul that came forward, because I was just abnormal that way. I mean, I just came in and I'm kind of different. And so she really allowed me to create, gave me supplies, and for me, creativity is anything. I sewed a lot of stuff, and I created a lot of stuff when I was a kid. When they would have parties at the house, I would take all the kids that came to the party into the garage and do art with them.
Mm.
Oh, cool.
So, and then I became a kindergarten preschool teacher.
Yeah.
That was my profession. And, we did crazy stuff.
But in those younger years, what did that creativity feel like to you back then?
Freedom. It's like I always had to express in that way.
But it wasn't just painting. It was, you mentioned sewing,
cooking. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like people think, oh my God, I'm not creative. And I know that was probably one of your questions too. It's like, I'm not creative. I'm not an artist. I don't have a creative bone in my body. I love to work with people like that. But because we are, they just don't realize that word art, they think of something that's in a gallery or something that, you have to learn. And creativity is everything. It's nature. It's going for a walk and seeing the beauty, God's beauty in the world. It's like really looking. I don't think people realize that creativity is everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere in everything that we do, the way that we dress, the way that we work with our children, it's like it's everything. Yeah. I saw the photo of you guys in the blue bonnets or wherever.
Yeah.
That was creativity.
Yes.
Yeah, we're a creative cameraman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have some creative kids.
Yes.
Creative wife and a mom. It's so true.
Yeah, it really is true. It's like letting go of the story of what art is.
Yes. Yeah.
And really going into the freedom of creativity. I mean, I've had folks did not believe that he was an artist at all or creative at all.
Yeah.
And he's showing in galleries now.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
How cool.
You know, and I've had several people, okay, I'm doing an art show now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like,
That's amazing.
because they get free.
Yes. Yes.
And then they can learn technique.
I see. Yeah.
You know, to me, that, I don't think they teach that in art school, but it's like, you know, if you can get free enough, then you can learn the technique along with the freedom.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, I'm just thinking of my own experience with film. It's like I didn't know, I still don't know the techniques in turning these cameras on, but I don't know what I'm doing with them. But I'm getting a chance to express myself. And I can look at the camera and say, that looks beautiful. This doesn't resonate with me as much, but this does. This excites me. You know, and so you're right. It's like my desire going into film was that I just want to express myself. That's what I want to do. And I got that opportunity to do so. And then learning the technique comes after that. It's such a, so I love that.
And you're underselling your technique a little bit. He did teach himself how to edit.
Yeah. 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 Starting to, yeah.
You were doing quite a bit of it.
Yeah. But that part of expression and of like creative expression, especially me as probably many of your clients, having that feeling like that's suppressed, not like it is suppressed, like knowing that it's part of you and like feeling like it's caged and wanting to release it and let it out in the world. And just that part of it, that self-expression part, I didn't really need much else beyond that. Like once I could get there, I was like, like I've arrived. I'm expressing myself. I don't care who sees anything, you know. And then I just it is therapeutic for me. Very therapeutic.
It is, and that is art is very therapeutic.
Yeah.
That is your art that you're talking about, you know. So it's just like it's therapeutic.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, one thing that I always think of when people say, I always hear folks say that they aren't creative, but they're in the middle of doing the most creative thing. So like they'll find the most creative solution to a problem in the workplace and develop a system and then inform people of it in a very creative way, in my opinion. And I think your whole job is solving problems. And you're using your creative mind to do that. I feel like the folks that tell me that they're not creative are blind to it because they just, maybe because of the rigid definition of creativity. And so when you describe creativity, you describe it as freedom. Are there any other ways that you define creativity?
It's a good question. Juicy, you know?
Juicy. Like when you feel like that high, that juicy high.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it for me.
Juicy.
Juicy. I love it.
It is. It's juicy, you know? It's like,
Well, so you became, we cut you off when you said you became a kindergarten teacher. And now, just explain kind of what happened, what was going on internally as that was happening.
I loved working with kids. You know, to me, I started right out of high school. I went right into child development, and then I went to Texas Tech, and I have a child development degree, and a teaching certificate in Texas, and I loved it. I taught for many years, and then I went to a USM graduation, Cohen-Art graduation in El Paso, Texas, where I'm from, and fell in love, and pretty much drove my Ford pickup truck to LA and moved here.
I love it. Good old Ford pickups.
And you went to a USM graduation, meaning you just saw someone graduate.
Well, I listened to Ron and Mary. It was a small graduation, but it was Cohen-Art University at that point. And it was in El Paso. And I just fell in love, and I knew that next year I needed to do it. I sold all of my teaching supplies.
Love it.
And started flying out here 1 week in a month. And then halfway through the year, I drove out here in my Ford pickup truck and moved here.
I love it.
Amazing.
Was
What
it a white?
courage.
I just gotta know. Was it a white Ford pickup truck?
It's green.
Okay, all right. I've had 3 white Ford pickup trucks in a row now. I don't think I'm gonna let it go. I'm like, could you pick a better color? Could you pick a more creative color? I'm like, no.
Why does all of the colors?
White. That's right.
Nailed it.
There you
This is
go.
awesome.
There you go.
I love every single color,
Oh.
Yeah.
and I like to mix colors. It's
Oh yeah. Yeah. There you go.
And then going from that course to really knowing what to do next, what does that look like?
Well, actually, I went from graduating from USM, and then I was called to move and work at my spiritual organization. So I worked at Movement of Spiritual Inner Awareness for 18 years
Oh wow.
and met my husband there. So that was so cool.
Mhm.
And I was actually, I ended up being the administrator. And so I had a very creative job at that point because I got to create events and decorate. And I love to decorate. That is one of my creativity. So I worked there for 20 years, and then I knew it was time for me to leave. I got a calling that I knew it was time for me to leave. And I didn't know what I was going to do at all. I knew it had to do with creativity. I audited USM second year, and I started taking Artist's Way.
Oh, that's
And
great.
fell in love with Julia Cameron because
Mhm.
she's one of my idols. And through that, I'd been following a woman in San Diego, Pamela Underwood, for years. She did a thing called body writing. And body writing, she's an expressive art therapist. And so for one of my my artist dates, I called and asked her if I could come interview her. And so I drove out to San Diego, and I'd been saying a prayer that Mary Holnick had given us. Dear Lord, given my gifts, my talents, my skills, my abilities, my education, what would you have me do? And I said that daily.
Mhm.
And as soon as I walked into Pamela's studio, I knew with every cell of my being that this is what I was going to do next.
Mhm.
Oh.
It was so visceral, and it just matched everything. And she took me through a process, and then she had a facilitation training right after that, and I've been facilitating ever since.
It sounds like you have such like a strong connection with your intuition. Has it always been that way for you?
So interesting. I would say yes, and a lot of times I probably didn't realize it, but I listened. I used to ride horses. You know, I'm from Texas. I rode horses. I had horses. I was in 4-H. I was in FFA. So I grew up like that, and I used to sit out in a haystack and talk to God, and that wasn't really part of our household.
Yeah.
And on my horses, it's like animals were such a big part of my life and still are. There's such a level of communication and listening, but I would say yes, my intuition.
I love these like seemingly I guess in the art world you say juxtaposed images, of the kind of the country style of living, and then you have these artists. And what's funny in Texas, and I'm sure you know this, Helen, but most of where I find the true artists are actually out in the country. Like I find all these, like out in Wimberley, Texas, it's like this, it feels like this kind of country. I think it's probably, people would probably listen to this and like, that's upscale country, man. But it's like, I find all these artists come out of the woodworks over there to see me as patients. And I'm like, where do you come from? Like, and they're like, either they're like bull riding and painting. And I'm like, cool. I love it. It's a good style. But that's true. But, like my dad, he's, poor farmer boy from Louisiana. And then he's over there sculpting in Italy. It's like that word juxtaposition again of these images that you would think, oh, this doesn't fit, but this is who these people are. That's their soul being.
My mother had a red caboose. My dad bought her a red caboose, and that was her gallery. That was where
Wow. That is so cool.
right in the middle of the desert, because we lived way in the desert.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome. That is so cool. I'd love to see a picture of it. That is cool.
Yes. So when you would is it safe to say that your belief system is that everybody is a creative?
Yes, I believe that wholeheartedly.
Okay. And so as far as what is your methodology or mindset when it comes to helping people remove blocks, or are there blocks to people's creativity?
We all have inner critics.
Mm-hmm.
We work with our inner critic.
Mm.
We work with it. We express it. They give them names. They bring a caricature of their inner critic, and get to know that voice, because an inner critic really is here to support us. They're just doing it in a different way. They're trying to protect us.
Yeah.
So, when that comes up, it's like, okay, let's work with it. Let's find out. Let's paint it. Let's use that voice and paint it.
That's a great way of putting it, though, that it's the stories that we tell ourselves that might be holding us back from our freedom, in many ways, our creative expression. So I think that's wonderful. Do you see that, like, maybe one session has a lasting impact on their lives, or do they have to have many sessions with you before they see real change?
It doesn't really matter. I mean, I work with people one-on-one for one time, and I work with people ongoing for 6 months to a year to more years. It just depends on what they have going on and what they want to create in their life, or what they want to let go in their life.
Yeah.
The biggest thing really with the stories is it's a place inside of us that we've abandoned, that we're not loving.
Mm-hmm.
So we really need to learn to love. And I'm speaking to myself. I have so many stories. It's like, it's that place where, oh, okay, I'm judging this place.
Mm-hmm.
So forgiveness comes into it, but really owning that place inside of us and loving it. My inner critic for quite some time was a Barbie doll, because I've always had body issues. I've always, overweight's been something that I've worked with all of my life.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the biggest critics that I've had. And I know when she comes up, oh, you can't do this. You don't look like that, kind of thing. But I've worked with it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I hear you. And we're still going to go do this.
That's so powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, to put a name to it. There's I would say what makes me think about my inner critic. My inner critic is the image of the perfect Asian daughter
Oh.
who decided to become a pharmacist.
Yes. Yeah.
and who is very normal and one step in front of the other type person, not this erratic person. So whenever I attempt to do something, that critic manifests, and she's like, "What are you even doing? What are you wasting your time, wasting your energy? Go do something more reliable, like pharmacy."
Just have an A.
Yes, and it really, the feeling is like really deflating, but then being aware that critic is not me, and that critic is also not reality, really helps, because now it's just when I'm doing something that excites me the most, I know, oh, my critic's going to show up, rain on my parade, and then move on. And so then that critic starts to become a little like she was very powerful in the beginning of my life until I identified her. And then now she's just like a seagull. She flies through, craps on things. Leaves.
There you go. I love it. Oh, that's seagull.
Yeah. Have you read the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert?
No, I haven't. No.
In chapter 4, she talks about taking her inner critic, which is fear, on a road trip.
Okay.
And she says, okay, come on, fear, get in the car. Me and creativity are going on a road trip. You can come because you will.
Yeah. Because you will.
Because you will.
You always invite yourself.
You're part of us. You need to sit in the back seat.
Back seat.
Yeah.
And you do not have permission to touch the wheel, to touch the radio or you do not have that permission, but you're welcome to come.
Yeah. Yeah.
Elizabeth Gilbert, Big Magic. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I would say my inner critic's is a play small. That's what my inner critic is like. Hey, who do you think you are? Keep it down.
Like keep it safe.
Yeah, just who do you think you are is all the time. Yeah. Do you have one?
Mine has the voice of Goofy.
Goofy.
We're back to Goofy again.
Okay.
Yeah, Goofy from Mickey Mouse. And no, I'm just kidding. So I'm actually struggling. So I had a massive. I mean, I don't know. That's hard for me because I think I've lost what my inner critic is right now. I know that I have one. I mean, I struggled with the degrees of anxiety that I struggled with, before I ever came to school, were so immense, that there was inner critic stuff, but it's hard for me to identify with that person. Like,
that's great, right?
Yeah, I think so, but I'm sure that there's something there. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that more. It's funny that I've never put it into the words of an inner critic. So I'm struggling here to come up with something aside from Goofy.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a big Julia Cameron fan also.
Yeah.
And when I first started engaging with the exercises, as far as just the morning pages, it was in reading deprivation, where you don't read anything or listen to anybody else's voice. It makes you realize how much of your own voice isn't really your own. It's just a regurgitation of maybe some other things that you've read. And around that time, I was putting together a speech for my sister's wedding, a toast. And I had some trouble recalling memories that weren't the memories that we all talked about all the time. I wanted to get, deeper memories with my sister growing up. And I'm thinking, oh, we talked about that one already. And why can't I remember more memories? And the reading deprivation really helped me tap into more things and more of my voice. And I remember after giving that toast, my sister was so moved. And I really think about, we benefit from our own freedom and creative expression, but so do our loved ones, because then we become also free to creatively express our love for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just think it's so wonderful. Do you have any scenarios where you've worked with clients and maybe they've been able to create stronger relationships as a result? I know it's a very specific question, or they've been able to reconnect with people as a result.
I've had people start relationships through it.
Neat.
Just being open to that aspect of it. I really see people, what I've really witnessed is people having a better relationship with themselves.
Mm-hmm. And then there's ripple effects from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share a little bit about, you kind of talked about this a little bit, and you mentioned it right now, is you encourage your folks to talk to the canvas, ask what it wants to be, or talk to the painting what it wants to be, but really they are surrendering maybe and allowing something else to work through them.
Yeah, that's something else to me is spirit. It really is. I did my doctorate on the process called prayer art. Prayer art is just writing down a prayer of whatever that may be. It may be a deep intention, and then going in and doing the whole thing of the body sensation and expressing that prayer on a journal. I've done it on a canvas, but on the practice, I've done it in a journal, and then hearing what the prayer has to say. There's something about doing it for 33 days that builds the practice. You know, and what I invite people to do is to lay their stuff out at nighttime, you know, and all it is an art journal and pastels or crayons or whatever. It's not like a huge thing, so that it's ready for them in the morning. And that process only takes like 20 minutes.
I find that it takes quite a bit of discipline. You know, Stephen talks about it takes so much discipline because we're also supposed to meditate. We're also supposed to do our gratitude. We're also supposed to work on forgiveness. We're also supposed to like the list keeps getting longer, and then that's just things to keep us functioning, you know? And then we have to go to work, or then we have to dress the kids and get them ready.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you have a recommendation for, you know, you also work with very busy people and clients, for how to cut through all the supposed tos and help us find clarity on how to move forward.
Yeah, I think it's taking it out of the to-do list.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because any to-do list, you know, there's resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, and just instead do what?
Yeah, it's just like, that's what I say, lay it out the night.
Yeah.
Lay it out the night before. You know, it's like, for me, pastels or crayons or paint is fun. You know, so it's just like, if I have all that fun stuff waiting for me, it's an invitation. And I have to trick myself like that too, because, oh no, I'm too tired. You know, but it's just like, the more that you do it, the more that comes in and goes, oh, I can't wait to go and, you know, I'm struggling today. So my prayer is, you know, help, whatever, you know, and really listening to that. And 9 out of 10 times, I feel better.
It's beautiful. I love that too. It's like you're enticing your inner child to just, and you're setting up your day to just speak to that inner being that wants to play. So it just lays out the toys for you to play. So when you wake up, let's play.
Let's play.
You know, and that part loves that part, but the conscious self loves, you know, the structure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you just allow the other space for the high self, the spirit, to come through.
Right.
That's great.
You know, the messages that I get are profound that I wouldn't have said in my mind. You know, one of them was, I was dealing with my knee pain before my surgery, and basically I heard, pain equals pay attention inwardly now. And it was like, that was profound to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and the other one, when I closed down the studio and I was grieving it, you know, what I heard was, oh, you think the magic is in the studio.
Oh,
you know, and it's like, I get that kind of messages, and it's like, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I want to check the time and make sure we have okay, cool. Can you believe we only have 7 minutes left?
Yeah, we're in cruising.
So, Helen, what are you most curious about right now? What are you working on right now?
What am I curious about right now? Probably going to Italy. I mean, that's huge for me.
Yeah. 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 So excited.
Yeah, I went the first time with Steven last year with our 2-year-old. No, not last year, 2 years ago already.
Yeah.
Yes, 2 years ago for the first time. And it was great with Ralph speaks beautiful Italian.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be neat, Helen. I mean, outside of this little podcast, I just, I mean, to have you, I would just love to connect you with all of these other creatives and just see what happens. I mean, and just see where it goes. And it sounds like the people that are coming along, I need to get to know them between now and then, but they sound amazing too. So there's just this energy that's building to go over there. I'm thrilled by it. So very excited.
Wow.
So,
well, thank you so much. Is there any closing wish or remarks that you'd like to share with folks? If you had some hope or dream for the future.
Art heals.
Art heals.
Arc healing.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite quotes is, when you use art as a healing process, the creative spirit within us is awakened and has an opportunity to reveal information that may not have been previously available. Art brings our inner healer, which changes our whole psychology and allows for deep healing to happen. To me, that's from a woman, Barbara Gamen, I think. She's an expressive artist, expressive art person. To me, that's what it is. It's like, if more people would do this kind of work and use art as a therapeutic and get away from what is going on in the world, and it's like there's healing. There's healing there.
I love it. Art heals.
Art heals.
Art heals.
That.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your talent with us and your story. I feel like we just learned so much from this conversation with you, and I can't wait to learn more when we're on our trip to Italy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Helen.
Thank you both.
Thank you for joining us on the L36 podcast, where the global exploration of cultural insights and stories of people making a difference big and small becomes the shift in perspective that helps us grow. Today's inspiring conversation with Helen Bradley illuminated creativity as more than artistic talent. It's a sacred practice of healing, self-expression, and playful exploration. Whether discovering your inner child or reclaiming your voice, creativity invites us into freedom and transformation. If today's conversation resonated with you, please subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who might benefit. These dialogues are just the start. To dive deeper into today's insights or explore the rich landscape of wisdom, community, and transformative events we offer, visit us at l36.io. Join our global family of adventurers, storytellers, and changemakers dedicated to personal and cultural growth. Stay connected by following us on social media. Until next time, keep exploring, and we'll see you soon on the L36 podcast.